So this is my childhood memory. This home in particular is my grandmother's house, and I remember when I was younger, during grade school, my sister and I would come out here during the week in the summer times, and we would spend so much time with my grandmother. So this house in particular holds so many memories for me with my grandmother, and it's sad now that she's in an assisted living place, so this house is now empty, and even though it is empty, it still holds these memories for me, and I will never forget my childhood as I spent so much time here. So this is the inside of the house, and it is now empty, and even though it's empty, I can still imagine it just the way it was when she was still here. And I remember as a child coming here, and my sister and I would run around the house and just play and, just do whatever, goofed off, as everything that kids do. Oftentimes, actually, my grandmother would take us shopping. We would always go to the Superstition Springs Mall, and she loved to go shopping. And sometimes my sister and I would goof off and play around with the clothing racks, and she would, get us back in line, but we had a good time. I always remember in the Superstition Springs Mall, there was a store called the Sweet Factory, and my grandmother would always take us there. And she would only allow us to get 5 pieces, but it was still just so much fun. They even had a carousel in the mall, and so we would ride the carousel afterward before we head home. It was a lot of fun going out there. And I remember spending a lot of time in this room also. This was the TV room, and we would sit here and watch these old movies, black and white movies, Cary Grant or Doris Day. She loved those movies, and one in particular I remember is Pillow Talk. Also TV shows. She loved her, crime TV shows, and especially Murder, She Wrote or Magnum P.I. or Matlock. So it's always reminded me of spending summers here. And she had a lazy boy chair actually just right over here to my right, and I remember just curling up in there with her and watching these shows. I remember this time when my 2 cousins came over. So it was my 2 cousins, my sister and I, and we formed like a group, a singing group, and so we decided to call it something Roses, and we just thought it was so clever, and we decided to even write a song, and oh god, now it's kind of embarrassing and really hilarious, but at the time we just thought it was so great, and we spent so much time on it, writing it and editing it all together. And then when we were done, we had to, perform it for my grandmother, so it was a blast.